What's the difference between spreadsheets that gets ignored and the spreadsheets that actually give you results? It's not the data, it's how you present it. Today I'm going to reveal the basics of exact formatting techniques that you can use to create Google Sheets that your viewers can actually read and understand. And these aren't just cosmetic changes. They are strategic communication tools that actually highlight what matters the most. Hi, my name is Ujjwal and I welcome you to episode 5 of Making Google Sheets Stupid Simple. And in this video, we're not just going to show you how to just format Google Sheets, but also when and why you will be using these formatting options in the best way possible. We'll cover bold, italics, underline, changing text colors, background colors, and I'll also give you real-world examples on how to make your spreadsheet shine. Let's get started. So, if you want to follow along with whatever I am doing on the screen, with your own Google Sheet version, there is a link down below this video in the description section. When you click on that link, you will be landed on something like this. Now, this is a spreadsheet which is similar to what I'm going to use on this video, right? So first you'll have to do is click on File and click on Make a Copy. Just name something and click on Make a Copy again. So now you'll be having your own version of spreadsheet where you can experiment, follow along this video, and you will learn the best way possible, because you'll only learn if you follow along with whatever I am doing. Is it clear? Let's get started. So first we'll start with bolding text. Now bold is your best friend in making things stand out for you. Consider it like a spotlight on your data. Let me show you an example, okay? Now this spreadsheet is having date, category, description, amount, status, and notes. Now, as you already know, these are the header, column header. So we should be sure what this column is having. So we should highlight them, right? It's a simple use scenario which is used most of the time. So we'll just highlight this and click on the B icon here. Or you can also use keyboard shortcuts like Ctrl+B on Windows or Command+B on Mac. Now, if you're unsure about how I am selecting these rows in your screen, you can actually click on the I button over here where you can cover how selection technique works. I have covered that in the last video. Now, as you can see, the column headers are now bold. Now they are having a standout look compared to anything else on the spreadsheet. You can do the same for some particular rows. Let's say this is a row where you want to draw more attention. You can just click on this icon and just click on B, where you can actually bold the entire row, or you can simply use the same shortcut for bolding the entire column if you want, so that you can draw particular rows and columns, and that is where bold is very helpful. Or let's say you want to highlight a particular cell where you want your viewers to pay attention. You can just click on that cell and just hit the B icon and it will get bolded. So it depends on various use case scenarios on what areas of your data you want to have your spotlight on. Okay, now let's talk about italics. Now, italics is great for adding subtle emphasis or providing additional context to your data. So as you can see, there is a notes column on my spreadsheet, right? And in this spreadsheet, when you see a notes column, I can actually highlight the entire column and just head over and click on the I icon here, so it will turn italicized. Now this is something we added as an additional notes, right? It is not a part of the structure, it was humanly added, and that is why italicized usually gives it a human touch, like someone added it recently or a human added it. So it is not a part of the structure, it is something which is outside of structure, and that is where these places we use italicized. You can also use italicized when you are using it to write citation or sources. You are referring or giving credit to external sources for some kind of data, where you can use italicized to refer it. Or you can simply use italicized to emphasize specific term or definition which you have used on your spreadsheet. Now the keyboard shortcuts for italicizing is simple. First, of course, you can use this icon. It will italicize the thing which you have already selected. Selection techniques were covered in the last video, or you can just click on the I icon for covering selection techniques again, or you can simply use Ctrl+I on Windows or Command+I on Mac to italicize whatever you have selected. Next, we'll go to underline. Okay, now underline is basically not used that much in Google Sheets, to be honest, but underline is mostly used when you want to give extra emphasis on whatever it is inside. Usually on internet, when things are underlined in a spreadsheet, that usually represents a link. That means that cell is clickable, and when you click on the items inside that cell, that will take you somewhere. So usually underline is used when you wish to have links inside your cell. Like for example, let's say I want to have marketing campaign linked somewhere else. You can actually have you can click on it and just press Ctrl+U on the keyboard, and this cell will be underlined. You can also add links to it by just selecting that cell and insert, and then you can click on link so that you can start adding links to it. And when you add a link to it, it will remain underlined and people will understand, okay, this is linked to somewhere else. So this is where we mostly use underline. Next, we move on to text colors. Now, text color is a very powerful tool in Google Sheets, which is used to make sure we are categorizing the kind of data that is inside Google Sheets. Let me show you an example. Now we're going to use different colors to represent different categories of data. Let's say we are going to use red for expenses, and we are going to use green for income. This makes it easy to visually separate and analyze data. Like for example, as you can see, there are alternate instances of income and expense here. Now let me select all the cells which has expense on it. And what I'm doing is simple. I will go to text color and I will give that a text color. Let's say I'm going to use a red, as I discussed, for our expenses, and rest of the data, which is the income, I'm going to use the green color. Say I will select all the cells which has the expense, and I'll just go again in the text color and give that a green. As simple as that. Now all the expenses are red and all the income category cells are green. See how we are visually separating things on our Google Sheets now. Another important use case of text colors are when we usually try to represent status of a task. Now we don't have that in the spreadsheet, but you understand how creative you can get. Like, you know, if you are having a status of the task as urgent, you can highlight that as red. And if you have the status of the task as not that urgent, you can maybe have that as pink or something. And the next important place where we actually use text color is when we want to highlight changes. Let's say there is a spreadsheet which was shared to you and you changed few instances on the spreadsheet. What you do is you actually change the text color to make sure that all those changes that you have done on that spreadsheet is now very clear in the eyes of the viewer. Does it make sense? If it does, hit that like button already, because it takes a lot of effort to create such videos. Next is font size. Now this is very important in Google Sheets, as in Google Sheets are usually having similar font sizes all around, right? But we can actually change in here. See, we have this font and we want to increase the size. What we do is simple. We can just click on the plus icon and increase the size of this font, or we can simply decrease the size of this font by clicking on the minus. Simple. You can actually increase the font size for let's say content which you want more emphasis, or which you can decrease the size where you want less emphasis. Let me show you an example. Now this emphasis text, the no text, is actually having a lot more emphasis in my eyes. What I can do is I'll select it and I'll decrease the font size so it has less emphasis. Now it looks a bit more clear to have the notes having less emphasis, because that is outside of the part of this structure in my opinion, and it is having less emphasis. Now let's move on to the next concept, which is the cell background. Now cell backgrounds are something which I myself use a lot, because cell backgrounds, I feel they are more comforting in eyes rather than using only text colors. Okay, you can use text colors of course, but cell backgrounds are having much more emphasis. Actually use formatting, because everything looks similar, but the background is kind of more eye friendly, which I consider more eye friendly when it comes to formatting cells. Okay, let me show you how. I will actually remove the formatting which I have on this category. Simple, I'll bring them back to all black. I'll just go here and black them out, as simple as that. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to change the background color of all the income driven rows into green and all the expense driven rows into red. Just have a look. What I'll do is I will click on this, press the control icon on my keyboard and press all the rows which has income. Now I've selected all the rows which has income. Well, what I'll do is I'll come to fill color and I'll give them a light green color as the background. And now I have all this come as green background. Okay. You can do the same for any the expenses. What you can do is you can select all the expenses rows by clicking on the Control key on Windows or Command key on Mac. You can actually give them a background color of light red or something. Okay. Now, all of these which you are seeing right now, let's say had deciding the cell background based on the category of the cell. In future, we will be covering ways in which we will write, automated formatting, where all of these will be taken care of on automation. Now, there might be another question that might be coming on your mind. Can I copy the formatting of one cell to another? Now, there is an easy way of doing that. Just click on that cell, click the paint format icon, and then if you click on any of the cell right now, the formatting will be copy pasted. Simple. Now, we will be covering more options on how you can do the same for multiple cells. And there is also easier way of doing the same thing, but that will be covered in future. And that's it. Now you know how to format text in Google Sheets like a pro. If you found this tutorial helpful, and if you think this is making small amount of contribution in your Google Sheets journey, do hit the like button and also subscribe to this channel. Hit that bell icon so you always get notified whenever I post a new video. If you have any questions, put that down in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to help you. That is all, guys. Stay happy, keep learning. See you in the next one.